why it doesn't work is that the triage is nuanced, and you can use different things in an automated versus unautomated way. So I want to spend a little bit of time on this because I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I think that there've been a lot of assumption that triage is straightforward. So I want to break this, and I want to break the triage in easy as automatable. We have data source, we have things that we can identify, or very hard where things are really hard to automate. Hence, we rather spend time doing things manually. And it's a balance. Right now, we overly balance on the right. I want us to be in a balance between left and right. So let's say bulk. So bulk is the first cut of vulnerability that we get from different scanner at different points. And I want to say, this is stuff that we can automate. There are different levels of nuances of what you can automate, taking different data feed. Exploitability, active bounties, vector, reachability in terms of code. We go from very easy, EPSS is available everywhere. An attacked vector is available, is CVSS based. If it's CVSS, CWSS based, is there an active bounty? Is there an active exploit in the wild? You get threat feed around a specific vulnerability. All of this information are machine readable and can be automated and can be used in an automated and scalable way to remove 80% of the vulnerabilities. Now, the deeper you go in the codes with the concept of reachability, and we're going to touch on the concept of reachability in a moment, the harder it becomes to actually track this and do things at scale. It's not impossible, but again, it's a balance between how much effort you put in the automation part versus how much you get out of it. If it takes you hours and hours and millions to actually develop a technology, or to actually go and scan each single line of code and find which single line was fixable versus a decision of 10 minutes, do we fix it, do we don't fix it because it's reachable with a team, decide where you spend your time, your energy, and effort. The second complexity or the second screening will be locality. Locality gives you the concept of where things are in your environment and how likely are they to get exploited. Again, is a nuanced approach. The likelihood derives by the intention of an attacker, but it's a good indicator of the more external you are, the more externally facing you are, the more likely things are to be exploited. And you can have those information in CMDB, you can have this information in any data set. The lower you go in the stack, the lower you go in this particular stack, exploitability, location, reachability, attack paths, you get more nuanced in the location and the likelihood of exploitation of a specific vulnerability, and it takes you more effort and time. So unless the vulnerability is really sophisticated, it's probably not worth to spend so much money, energy, and effort on actually an attack vector or an attack path analysis that delivers you maybe good results, but you probably have spent an enormous amount of time and effort that could have been saved. And second, business criticality. And the more we go right, the less automatable information, the less information you have to use in a machine readable way. Hence, it's harder to get automation. And hence why I say the left part of this triage and staging of triage is automatable, because you have widely available information at scale, or there are providers that offer you. But the more right you go, the more this information depends on your organization, on your particular context, and not every time is actually automatable. This doesn't take you, this doesn't mean that shouldn't be an incentive for you to actually go and automate a lot of this stuff, because there is a lot of benefit from it, and it's probably not that complicated. But for example, in a business criticality, a number from 1 to 10 on an application is easy to say. A full fair analysis is probably more complicated to implement and to even understand. And the last bit that is where really the manual effort comes into place is the business decision, is the internal rationale is, do we fix this particular bunch of vulnerability, or do we upgrade this library, this framework? Those decisions are really hard to automate, and in my opinion, shouldn't be automated, because it's all contextual on the particular business initiative that you're having.